here at the Stars, and you know, just a little bit of a backstory here. I know you guys started in Toronto, came here to New York City, went back to Montreal. I'd really like to know, and I know our listeners definitely want to know, you know, how you guys first formed and your progression, you know, to where you guys are now.
It was a childhood thing. We didn't really play music in Toronto. We all just grew up in Toronto, and me and Chris have known each other since grade 3, and it was just a neighborhood thing, you know, a bunch of people who really loved each other, and then me and Chris moved to New York and started writing songs, but Amy and Evan came in, and once they came in, then we knew we had to live somewhere where we could all be together. So Montreal was a perfect place for that.
And why is that?
New York kind of made Torkel an angry person.
Made me anxious. It gave me agita, as they say in New Jersey.
It was amazing. It was like he basically transformed when we came to Montreal. He just sort of...
I love New York, but it's you know, it's not good for me.
It happens to some people, I think. You know what I mean? If you're having tension, if you're you know, prone to that kind of aggro already, and then you live here, I think it's sometimes can give you some hot blood pressure.
But the thing is, I think New York was crucial in the music because we moved to Williamsburg and it was really gritty and really stinky and
this chair is so loud.
You know, wasn't. I want to listen to that for a little while longer.
I'm gonna stop moving.
It was kind of a hard place to live, so we decided to make really beautiful music to try and counteract that feeling in our lives.
And Montreal kind of gave you that vibe. You think that the city had a big influence on your sound?
To some degree, for sure, just because it's a very romantic place. And it's
cold.
Cold.
Very,
you know?
very cold.
And you stay inside a lot, and you have people's social lives there. Is like, you don't go to big nightclubs, or there aren't like big happenings. It's a more intimate thing. People get together at each other's houses, and it's kind of like a village, you know? So I think the softness of the music kind of was influenced by the softness of the city.
Definitely. When you guys do come back here, you know, is there anything that you miss about being here? Is there anything that you really like going back and checking out?
For sure. I mean,
it's an incredible city.
It's for me, it's Joe's Pizza. Like, I just have this almost like molecular need to eat Joe's Pizza.
I went to Babbo the last time I was here. Batali. Mm-hmm. I just want Batali to know that if he wants to be friends with me, I am happy to be friends with him. He's absolutely incredible. We bought the cookbook as well, and then I went and made a couple dishes of his. And I just really the restaurants, and Angel Share is one of our favorite places. I guess we should keep it a secret, though.
Yeah, don't tell people about the Angel Share. Forget she said
that.
It's
actually closed down.
Hit yourself over the head. Forget she said that.
What when you're on tour, what kind of food are you guys getting mostly when you're not enjoying some of the finest chefs in the world here in the city?
It's generally complex levels of cheese versus bread. Sometimes layered with a mayonnaise, sometimes layered with some sort of tomato base, but basically we'd like to keep it to cheese avec wheat.
Generally, if you're like overseas, pretty much you're gonna have a Guinness diet. If you're in Ireland, you basically only get crisps backstage in the UK. So
which is why, you know, we may not look as well as we possibly could. Look at me. Look at me. Sorry, for you on radio, you can't look at me, but just close your eyes and think of a little potato.
Suicidal potato.
A little suicidal potato, and that's what I look like.
It's keeping you svelte.
It's keeping
the English diet.
Oh,
yeah, it's keeping me nice and svelte.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys released In Our Bedroom After the War about 2 months before the CD came out in stores.
Yes.
And, you know, with so many changes going on in the music industry, it's really, you see a lot of bands taking a different approach to the way they release an album, you know, with all the digital downloads. You know, Radiohead just did something very similar where they're letting their listeners choose a price for their album.
Right.
You know, what do you guys think about the direction that digital downloads and what record labels are going to have to do to really compensate for that?
Well, it's funny. We were just in Starbucks and we were looking at this new thing they have of selling, you know, they're selling the Eddie Vedder soundtrack to Into the Wild on a tiny little card for $12. You go home and you download it and you get what's called a digital booklet, which I guess is sort of like a private little website. I think everybody's trying to figure out obviously it's like after some huge cataclysm, and things are profoundly different in the music industry now, and everybody's trying to figure out how people want to buy music now and how to get it to them. And I don't know, man. I think everybody's just trying to cut as much as possible, cut out the interference between the listener and the musician. But that also, you know, creates its own problems. So I don't know.
What I love about what Radiohead has done is the fact that you can buy this package, and it's quite expensive. I think it's about $80. But it's about the art of that package. So I think that it's going to bring, hopefully, art and the way, like, you know, in the 70s, the vinyl, like, you know, the imagination that went into putting out vinyl was incredible. And I think that got lost with the Digipack. It was kind of like artless and, you know, very disposable. And I think that it's gonna bring the return of art and music as a combination, and that's, I find, very exciting. Yeah,
a lot of, you know, younger kids today, they download these things and they'll see a cover of, you know, the album of one of their favorite bands and not even recognize it. And you guys really try and incorporate with your videos and with your album covers that sort of artistic angle, you know, into your music. And I guess that's really important to you guys.
It is. I mean, it's hard to do, you know, especially in the video arena, because you're trying to take in so many, you know, so many factors, trying to get it played on the television and get it played in these various places, and everyone has their sort of rules about what they will and won't do. But, you know, the world of the music, for stars, and the world, it's very much about giving the people who buy the records or listen to the music a world that they can go into, and we're not really interested in them thinking about us while they're listening to the music. We want them to think about the world that we're creating with the music, and think of themselves in it instead of us in it. And that's just the kind of band we decided to be, you know, so that keeping that world open for people to go into is what this band is kind of all about, I think.
And Take Me to the Riot is the first single off the album, and just, you know, you saying that, really interested in the meaning of that song. You know, what's your take? What sort of message should, if there is one, should your fans be
Stay away from drugs, kids, because you'll end up screaming like Mark Bolan on the street in a feather boa and hating yourself. It's just it's a genre song. It's a love song about two people who have gone over to the dark side in their lives and just lost control of their lives, and have nothing except each other, and they don't even know if they have that anymore, you know. And I guess because I've been a very blessed person in my life. I've lived a very gentle life and never really had too many, knock on wood, but I've had a very blessed life, and I'm kind of fascinated, I think, by people who, for one reason or another, it just seems like the wheels fall off and they can't get back into the world that the rest of us get up and live in every day. And the people who live on the edges of society, I guess, are, I think, really fascinating, and on some level very beautiful people, you know. Even though they're totally screwed up, they've stepped into a world that most of us will never know, and there's something about that I find very beautiful.
That's great. I love hearing about the band, and we definitely want to thank you guys for coming in.
Thanks so much, and thanks for letting us wear our shades while we did this.
Thank you for letting me wear your shades.
Yeah, I think you should. I think this is a great way to interview, actually, in shades.
This might change things from here on out.
This is really.
I'm going to say one more thing about Riot, though, because although it is, you know, you're talking about the other people that are live in the darkness. You.
Oh, I live in the darkness.
You
too.
like to party.
Well, I do, yeah.
And you don't like to go to sleep. And that is actually, it's in the Comeback as well, that song, The Comeback. And there's this sort of, and it's true. It's like every night, Campbell's like, you know, tonight, I can't do it tonight, guys. Like, I'm not partying tonight. I'm out for this one. And you're like, we actually made a bet, won the bet. Because, of course, at 5 a.m, he's tracking down the next.
Yeah.
Well, how soon do you have to get to your next show after tonight?
Tomorrow, but tonight I'm
you
not.
Got all night in New York City
I'm not going to party tonight.
Oh, right there. There it is, right there.
There's my £5 that I just won.
All right, well, thanks a lot, guys.
Pleasure, man. Thanks for having us. Thank you very much.
It looks like a sad F.
I like him, but I don't know. It's my cloud horse. I really like this one, though. He's my favorite so far. He was my first. It's my sort of nervous alien. It's a nervous alien.
Wow, that's a super bubblicious playlist, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's bubbly?